tell me about your experience with vaginismus and maybe even, I guess, define what you know vaginismus to be. So, kind of tell me about that and your experience with it, and yeah, just how it started off.
Sure. So I've probably had it at least since my early to mid teens, um, and didn't know that that's what was happening. I would try to put a tampon in when I had my period, and I would, double over and almost faint from the pain. Um, and I was just embarrassed and ashamed and thought that something was wrong with me. I was even a little bit teased about it. Um, and, you know, as I got older and it started to be time to get like pap smears and pelvic exams, I couldn't get through them. And at the time, the doctors that I had at those times would just say, like, oh, well, once you have more experience, once you have more sex, you'll loosen up and be fine. And um, so that just kind of made me go into myself more and feel more shame. And basically, it took until really like right before COVID. My primary caregiver was trying yet again to do a pap smear, and she realized, no, that something wasn't right. Like just touching was causing me pain. Um, and so that was the first time that I had a doctor actually support that it wasn't like just me being overly sensitive, or um, that something was wrong, but not like my fault. Um, and just me being too physically sensitive or not experienced enough in sex. And then I went to an OBGYN and, had roughly the same experience. She referred me to, she wasn't sure what it was. So, but at least she was kind about it and believed me and that there was something wrong, and was one of the first people telling me that something was wrong, and there's something that can or should be done about it, that it's not just something that I have to like overcome and sit with and be in shame about. And that's when I learned about vaginismus and how basically like my pelvic floor muscles were just clenched and tightening, um, and basically anything that was trying to penetrate, since it's so tight, um, it was just causing me pain, and nothing was really able to get in. Um, and even that OBGYN, who wasn't sure at the time what I had, she described it as feeling as if there was like another wall of tissue in my vagina that shouldn't be there. And that's not actually what it was, but I think that's what it felt like to her, because my pelvic floor was so tight. And it just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm almost 35, and at the time, what has it been, like 2 years, this COVID reality. So like 33 years old, and finally hearing that, it's not just something that I was, having to live with and feel ashamed about. And like, I was just, being overly sensitive and couldn't have pleasurable sex or get through any sort of pelvic exam or anything, even by doctors and friends, and just feeling so isolated and alone. And like, that was just my life, and that's how it was going to be. So for the first time at 33, learning that it was something that, wasn't my fault and that I could do something about. And, I've been in pelvic floor physical therapy, and and it's made a huge difference. And I just think if I had known about this, and if I had a doctor who saw this and understood what was going on with me, instead of, just making me feel more shame, um, I could have overcome this decades ago.